Proud places a lot of emphasis on spirituality in its socioeconomic theory. And the reason I find that very interesting or very compelling is that we are currently in a system which is based on greed and selfishness, and we are told that greed and selfishness with individuals is going to lead to everyone's benefit. And Proud challenges that, and people have realized that that's not really the case and it doesn't work. By bringing spirituality into Proud, what Proud is really, or what the way I interpret that, is that it's really asking people to focus more on the values of love, compassion, and solidarity. So spirituality for me is really expanding one's radius of love and embracing many, many more people in the entire creation of living beings within one's fold. And to pursue that in society and also pursue that through an economic system is a very noble goal and a very noble ideal that Proud aspires to achieve. And that's the speciality of Proud in terms of bringing spirituality into the socioeconomic theory. So it asks people to see spirituality as not some kind of religious approach or some kind of sect or group-based approach. It looks at spirituality from a very universal perspective of love and compassion with all the beings around us. And that's really the essence of spirituality and its place in the socioeconomic theory of Proud. I think it's really even people who are not religious, who might be from Marxist or leftist traditions, one thing that all of them value is the sense of unity and brotherhood among human beings. And where it has moved a little bit forward in the last 50 years is recognizing that our environment and our ecosystem is equally important. And there's a growing sentiment for the living beings, the plants, and that there's an expanding sentiment that we all belong to this ecosystem and we have to preserve and take care of it, and we have to live harmoniously with it. So there is a sense of this unity with creation, which is at the very core of a spiritual philosophy. And if you understand spirituality as love for creation and love for all aspects of creation, and brotherhood and sort of selflessly serving each other and standing in solidarity with everyone else, then it's something that is very attractive to people who have nothing to do with religion necessarily, or find religion very dogmatic, in which in many cases it is, or if there are groupifications based on ethnicities or any other sort of things which divide people. Spirituality really challenges those divisions and says that at the core of us human beings and the rest of the creation, we are one, and we can only survive and work towards each other's welfare if we recognize this unity in ourselves. And that is what Proud requests and demands people to recognize and to accept spirituality in that spirit, so that they can move together and achieve collective welfare. I think people are ready to accept spirituality if it's defined not in some sort of sectarian or religious silos. It's really, if it's all about love and compassion and solidarity, you can see people out in protests, marches, in at least opposing this system. They all stand together and they're all against greed and avarice that's so inherent in the current system. And they all are chanting slogans about love and togetherness and fraternity and brotherhood. And this is really what spirituality is all about in practice. So in terms of theory, you can have some philosophical concepts about it, but in practice, in real life, it's really about being able to love people selflessly and to be able to serve people selflessly. And if that's what the people are shouting at slogans, I think they are ready also to embrace it as a concept. It's very difficult to practice it in real life, but it's a very worthwhile goal to aspire towards. And I think there's very few people who will say that loving others and actually helping others and serving them selflessly is not a goal worth aspiring to. Even in today's society, that's seen as an exception, but a valued exception. And what Proud is asking, and what people are themselves realizing, is that let's not let it be an exception. Let's make that the rule. Let's make loving people and serving them a rule. And that should be the value that our socioeconomic system should really aspire towards.
I can't understand how it's possible. This person that had everything, you tell him have double, and this person who have nothing really has only a cow left. He tell, well, tomorrow the cow will die. And with this type of grieving thoughts and grieving words, at that point Krishna had to give an answer. So in a very, how to say, a living way, and jolly way, Krishna told, you see, that is perfect, exactly what is supposed to happen. Because the rich person, yes, it is my devotee, but he may think of me just once or twice in a year, because he's so busy with his own rich and with his own properties and everything that, well, the moment that he will have 2 times this kind of very, how to say, miser devotion will be also gone, and I will be free from the obligation to visit him. But for this lady is just the opposite. This lady has been always thinking of me, always, besides some time that was worried for her cow. So when the cow will die, well, all her thoughts will be for me. Now, this is a moral story, and this is, of course, a very important teaching. And he reminds us that our life actually sometimes goes in a way where we may not understand why certain things happen, why we lose our dear ones, our people that we feel more attached, and then we find ourselves kind of lost. But actually it's not lost. It is just the decree of the Lord. It is just the blessing that we receive from the Almighty.